Hello and welcome guys. So now in this lecture, let's apply all the modifiers and UV unwrap our cartridge and export it to Substance Painter to start with the texturing. Alright, so if you remember, I mentioned that we need to keep like a copy of the original model with all the modifiers intact. So instead of creating a duplicate file, what we can do is make sure everything is disabled, only the cartridge collection stays enabled. I will just select everything over here. First, let's select this image, press M and move this to reference images collection. And yeah, now you can just press A to select everything, press Shift plus D to duplicate it and just place it anywhere you want. You can place it right about here. Press M and move it to a new collection and rename this to cartridge. Applied. So now basically we have two different collections, one with the modifiers applied and one with the modifiers all intact, so that whenever we have to make a change at a later on stage, we can do that. So I will just disable this collection and we can select this collection, press A to select everything or just select everything like this and press F3 and search for convert to mesh command and just select convert to mesh to apply all the modifiers. Make sure everything is looking right. And yeah, now just quickly delete all of these pieces. All right, now basically what I will do is I will press A to select everything first. Then we can press Ctrl A and apply the scale. And now while everything is selected, just press Tab to go into the edit mode. Press A to select everything and then press Ctrl plus T to triangulate everything. And then you can press Alt plus J to remove the access triangulation. So basically, if you remember, we did this with the Game Boy also. It helped with like the shading in Substance Painter. So yeah, we will do this beforehand only with the cartridge. All right. Now one thing I'm noticing is we have quite a few shading issues over here. If you look at from far away, it is not that visible. But still, if you want to fix them, maybe we can just select it and go over here, add a weighted normal modifier and just enable keep sharp. So if you enable keep sharp, you will see most of the issues are fixed now. And yeah, the model looks fine. So I will just add the weighted normal modifier, enable keep sharp and select apply. All right, now I will again press A to select everything, then press Shift plus D to duplicate it. You can press X and place it right over here. So basically I am doing this so that we have like two different cartridges and we can give them two different colors. Just to add a bit more detail to our render, it would look nice if we have like two different cartridges with like different colors. You can maybe create more also if you want to, but yeah, I'll just keep two. Now I will select it, go over here and add new material. Let's rename this to cartridge. And to copy it to all of the objects, while this is selected, press A and now press Ctrl L and link the materials like this. All right. So make sure to now apply the scale of everything. So just press A to select everything, then Ctrl A and apply the scale. Let's head over to the UV editing tab now. So just select everything and press U and Smart UV project and hit OK. We can give it a little bit of island margin, but I think the UVs are pretty good. All right, so now let's try exporting this to Substance Painter. I will just quickly open up Substance Painter now. And while it is opening up, we can press A to select everything, go over to File, Export, and export it as Wavefront OBJ, the legacy one. In the Exports folder, rename this to Cartridges. And enable selection only, and now hit Export. Let's go back to Substance Painter, close this and create a new project. Click on select and we can select the cartridges file, hit OK. And just quickly look for any kind of issues if you find any. But I think everything is pretty good. Yeah. So everything is looking pretty good in the first try only. So I will just go over here and enable temporal anti-aliasing. Now let's bake the mesh maps straight away. So go over to texture set settings, hit bake mesh maps. And now let's do the same settings quickly, which we did for the Game Boy also. I will disable ID maps. And yeah, rest everything remains pretty much the same. Hit bake selected textures and just wait for it to finish. Alright guys, so the bake is done now. I will hit return to painting mode. And again, quickly check if there are any shading issues with the bake. But yeah, everything is perfect in my opinion. So now we can finally start with the texturing of them. So first, go back to the layers tab and let's just delete this old layer. And before starting, I will just quickly save my project. So hit Control S, and in the Substance Painter files folder, I will save it as cartridges. Alright, so now for their material, I will be using the same plastic material that we created in the Game Boy project only. So I will just quickly open up the Game Boy project and create a smart material out of it. I did that in the video also, but I will just quickly show it again. So yeah, wait for it to open up. And let's scroll down. I can select this plastic white. So select it. We can maybe, just for exporting, rename this to something else. So let's rename this to coarse plastic. And yeah, right click and select create smart material. As soon as you do that, it will appear right over here. So yeah, now I will just quickly rename this back to plastic white only. Hit save, and now you can open back your cartridges file only of Substance Painter. So go to file and cartridges. Alright, so if you head over in the smart material section and search by coarse, you will find this coarse plastic material. So just drag and drop it onto the cartridge. Quickly wait for it to load. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. We need to adjust a couple of settings, but yeah, it is looking all right in my opinion. Also, I will go over here and increase the size of the texture. So increase it to 4K so that we can view everything properly. One thing that I want to do is I want to increase the tiling of these scratches because right now it kind of looks pretty big. We can also tile it from here also. So I think this works much better, I think. Let's decrease the balance to make it a little less apparent. And yeah, this way I think it looks much better. Alright, so now I think it is time to change up the colors a little bit. So select the base and let's see. We can maybe go for like a bluish color. Okay, wait. Let's undo it. Create a new copy of this material folder. Alright, so now for one of them, we can change the color to something else. Just for now, and click on here, right click, exclude all, click on here, right click, exclude all. And now select this one and give this color to this one and click on here and give this color to this one. Just so they have like completely different colors. And now for one of them, we can maybe go for something bluish or something kind of yellowish. I think I will go for yellow. Something like this, I think looks pretty nice. Definitely need to adjust the edges layer a little bit because it looks really weird this way. Maybe we can give it a dark color like this. Yeah, I think something like that looks fine. Let's see. I'll just give it a completely black color and decrease the opacity from here to 15. I'm still not sure. Yeah, I think that looks fine. I'll just go ahead with this only. And for this one, we can change the color to something grayish like we have in the reference image over here. Just so it does not like clash with our Nintendo Game Boy because it's basically the same plastic material right now. So what you can do is you can open up the reference image. Let's open up this one, and you can just make your Substance Painter a little bit smaller like this. And now what you can do is go over here, select the base layer, and click on this eyedropper tool and just select the color like this very easily. Yeah, I think these two colors are pretty good. I'm satisfied with them. We can adjust the edges layer now. Maybe we can just reduce the opacity. Yeah, that right away looks pretty good. Let's set the opacity to something like 20. Let's try 20. Yeah, 20 looks all right. Let's try doing the same thing with this also. I will set the color back to white, and let's try decreasing the opacity to maybe something like 15. Yeah, honestly, I think that looks much better. I'm satisfied with this. Let's continue texturing it. These pieces over here, let's see. We can just add a simple black layer, make it a black color, right click, exclude all, and just select this piece as the black color and this one. Select this one and this one. They won't even be visible, but yeah, I think this way it looks fine. And next, create another layer. We can rename this to black plastic. And this one can be our gold color for the chips. Let's see. Set the metallic to 1, decrease the roughness, and adjust the color a little bit. Yeah, that looks all right. Now select this and select this. All right. Rename this to gold. Next, we can add iron material. So let's just create one. Set the metallic value to 1 and decrease the roughness a little bit. Right click, exclude all, and select this and this one. Or I think this nut is too big, so we will just use a smart material only. I mean, we can definitely create a decent looking iron material just by adding these type of layers again and again. But if we have the smart material, let's just use that only. So yeah, that looks fine. I will just select the base layer and make it a little bit brighter. So let's see. Over here, I think, yeah, you can increase the luminosity just to make it a little bit more shiny. And yeah, that's fine. Let's proceed further now. I will open up the reference image. Let's close this one. So on the back side, we have something like this. I didn't really add a front side reference image, so let me just quickly add it. All right, so here you go. I've added the front side reference image also. So yeah, it basically looks something like this. We have a Nintendo Game Boy logo over here and a picture of the game. So we can definitely add those things. Let's start. I will just again add a new layer. Rename this to hide text. Disable everything except the hide channel. So hold Alt and click over here. And let's see, add a black mask. Give it a little bit of height info. And now, okay, so yeah, this is a completely different project. So I think we need to import our textures once again. So we can just select the Nintendo Game Boy one because rest of them we won't be using. So just drag and drop it over here. Yeah, come back to all libraries and just drag and drop it. Select alpha, hit project and import. Select the project filter and yeah, it is over here. Now select the alpha, increase the size, and you can easily stamp it like this. Let's just first set the view to orthographics so that everything is flat. Move the lighting over here. Just check if everything is in the center. Yeah, I think that looks all right. Let's place one over here also. Yeah, I think that is looking pretty good. I will come back over here. Let's set this to 0.1 maybe. And we can also add a blur filter to this just to make it a little bit like not so harsh. So nothing really happened because we added the filter to, I think, the layer, but we need to add the filter to the mask. Select the mask and now add a filter and select the blur. And yeah, now it is working. Set the intensity to something like 0.1. And yeah, we are pretty good to go. You can see if we disable the filter, it looks pretty harsh, but with it, with blur filter enabled, it looks pretty good in my opinion. And now hold Alt and Shift and move towards the back side. Let's come over here and select this reference image. So we have something written over here, made in Japan and patent penned. This is basically patent pending, I think. Yeah. So let's see. If you will notice, we don't really have a texture for them. I will just show you how we can do that manually in Substance Painter. So it is pretty easy. Go over to all libraries and in the alpha section, just search for font and you will find a couple of fonts over here. Some of them are like my custom font that I've added, but they are like many fonts that are added by Substance Painter only for you guys to use. We can select any one of these. So let's see. I think we can use this one, font Orbitron. I think it would look all right. So the way we can go about this is just select your mask, double click over here, and you will see Substance is written over here, and you can easily stamp it. But if you scroll down, you will see you can change the text. Just replace this text with Made in Japan, like it is in the reference image over here. And let's just stamp it over here. You can see it is not fitting properly. So what you can do is you can decrease the size like this. And now it is fitting well. Just stamp it like this over here. Yeah, I know it does not really match with the reference image, but I just wanted to add this segment to show you how we can use custom fonts in Substance Painter. We can like definitely create a very simple looking alpha out of this in Photoshop and get the exact same font if you want to do it this way also. So yeah, I will just stamp it over here also. And yeah, I think in my opinion, it looks pretty good. The cartridge prop is like really small, so it won't be that noticeable. So yeah, we can definitely go ahead with this. Now let's just write this text. So P-A-T and stamp it right over here. Decrease the size a little bit. All right. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how the textures are turning out. I will hit save. All right. So now we can import the textures that we will be adding over this area. So just open up this textures folder and just select these three and drag and drop them onto the shelf. Select them all and make sure to import these as textures. Import them to your project and hit import. All right. So now again, we have a couple of different ways that we can add these textures onto our like models. So let's see. First is you can simply add a fill layer and then you can drag and drop this texture onto the base color like this, and you will see it will appear over all of your model. So definitely we don't want that. So add a black mask and now go over here, polygon fill, and just select this face so that it only appears over here. You need to select these parts also. So just make sure to select them all. Don't worry, we don't have to like be precise with it because I won't be using this method. This is not that great of a method in my opinion. So yeah, you can see it has its flaws as you have to select all of these small faces. And now what we basically need to do is we need to adjust its settings from over here. So if you press F1, you will see this appear up, this UV screen, where you can see all your UV islands. And if you move the texture, you can see it is moving over this face. So, sorry, just hold Shift and decrease the size of it, and you can place it over here. You need to maybe like rotate it to properly align with the 3D model over here. Then you can like scale it accordingly, and it is like a lot of effort. You have to like place it correctly this way. So yeah, you get my point. You can like adjust it however you want in this window and then place it over here. You will also notice that when you move it around, this texture is like repeating. So if you want to turn that off, you can come over here and set this to none. As soon as you remove that, you will see it is only the single texture. So it makes it a little bit easier to place it around, as you can properly see where you have to place it. If you like move it out of the frame, you won't see anything. So you can move it back. So as I said, if you want to place it this way, this is also a method. You can definitely do it. As you can see, I've already placed it. It is not that perfect, but yeah, you can definitely work with it. You can come back to the fill layer now, and you can adjust things like adding height to it. As you can see, we are adding height or changing the roughness and all the things like that. You can definitely do with the fill layer, and it definitely gives you much better control with all these settings, as you can change the roughness and metallic height, anything you want at any point. But the other way that I will be showing you, let's just delete this and this time add a fill layer. Now you can press F2 back to like come back to the 3D view. And yeah, this time we will be using a paint layer. So just add a paint layer. So with paint layer, as you already know, if you like make a stroke, you cannot change the settings of this. You have to like, if you change this to red color, and now if you want to change this to something else, like you cannot do it. You have to like completely erase this stroke, and then you need to select your brush back again, and then you can change the color, and then you can add it again. But yeah, as I said, you cannot make any changes to the information of the existing strokes. So you cannot like change any of the information of these two strokes. You cannot change the roughness of the metallic. So yeah, you get the point. So now we are using a paint layer. So if you add like a sticker onto your model using a paint layer, you won't be able to make changes later on. But yeah, I think it is very easy to place it as compared to a fill layer. So how we will do it, just add a paint layer first and select this tool. So projection one, this is the projection painting tool, and you will see this white box appear over your screen, and you can now just drag and drop the sticker one onto the base color, and you will see it is appearing over your screen, and you can move it around while holding like Alt and using your left click to move it around very easily, and then you can paint it wherever you want. So yeah, pretty basic stuff. You can like easily place it wherever you want and then paint on it. But as I said earlier, you cannot really like make any changes to this paint stroke. Now you cannot change the metallic or the roughness. Alright, so let's see how we can place it exactly over here. So to change the settings of this window over here, you need to press S first. And when you press S, you will see the screen goes darker. So that means you can now edit it, and you will see all the shortcuts appear over here. So if you use S key, so press S, then use your right click, then you can increase the size of it. If you use your left click, then you can rotate it. You can also hold shift to snap it like this while rotating. And if you press S, then use your middle mouse button, you can pan it around like this. Okay, you can also pan it while holding Alt and then moving around your screen. That is also a way, but you can also pan it around this way. So yeah, you get my point. Now let's place this perfectly into our this little window. So press S, then increase the size of it, and now just carefully place it exactly in here. And yeah, you can see this method is like much easier as compared to the other one, the fill layer one, as we can easily paint it like this. You can see how easily we painted the sticker onto the model, and we don't have to do anything. The only disadvantage of this is that you cannot really change anything now, as I mentioned earlier with paint layers. If you have to make any change, you have to maybe like erase it or just undo it completely. Again, select the projection painting tool, and let's say I adjust the roughness and the metallic, and now I paint it again. You can see now it looks completely different. But yeah, I cannot really make any change to the existing strokes. To get my point, I will just quickly undo it, set the roughness back to 0.3 and metallic to 0. Or maybe we can just disable everything except the color channel, because we only need the color information. And yeah, just quickly paint it over your model. And yeah, basically that was it. We can now move over to this one, and let's just drag and drop. Again, select the projection painting tool and drag and drop this one. You can use whichever one you like. And again, I will paint over it very easily. All right, let's come back to the paint layer. I mean the paint tool. And you can see our cartridges look much better with these stickers added onto it. What I now want to do is I want to add a HSL perceptive filter. So click on the layer one and add a filter to it and select the filter, this one, HSL perceptive. This will help us to control the colors a little bit, as they are looking like really bright as compared to our cartridges. So decrease the lightness of them. Just a little bit. You can also decrease the saturation a tad bit to 0.45, I think is pretty good, and 0.45 on the lightness. And yeah, this way they will look much better. If you disable the filter, you can see they were looking like really bright earlier, but now it looks much better. Another thing that I will show you is, let's just rename this to stickers first. If you want to add like a bit of chip damage onto your stickers that you have added, what you can do is you can add a black mask to the paint layer like this. They will completely disappear, but don't worry. Now what you need to do is you need to select, let's just remove this. You need to select any smart mask or any of the grunge maps. Like let's say I search for grunge, and we can use maybe something like this. Add a fill layer to it first and drag and drop it onto it. And you can see we have added a bit of damage. It is not really perfect. Let's see, we can rotate it by 90 degrees. I'm not going to add it, but I'm just showing you how we can do things like this. You can increase the contrast to make it look like as if paper is being scratched. And yeah, you can like add a little bits of it here and there. Play with the tiling a little bit. And you can see it adds a little bit of detail. Then you can maybe, let's see, add a mask to it. Sorry, add a filter to it and maybe select the filter as blur. You can see it makes it a little bit blurry over here on these edges. Or maybe we can try another filter, that is, I think, warp. This will also give it a nice effect, as you can see if you turn the filter on and off. So yeah, you can definitely play with this. I'm just giving you like my opinion. You can change the grunge map to see different results with different maps, and you can see which fits better according to your personal preference. You can also, what you can do is, let's say let's choose anything. Let's say I add this, increase the contrast, just the balance a little bit. Let's try something else. This is not that good. All right, let's say we add some this type of damage to our cartridges, and now you want to add a bit more by yourself. What you can do is you can select the mask, go over here and add a paint layer to the mask. Now make sure to move the paint layer below the warp. And now let's see, we can come back over here to the brushes section, and let's say I select the 3 brush. And now if you will see, if you try to paint around, okay, first change the color to black to remove the like sticker. If you change it back to white, it will start appearing back again, as you can see. But if you change it to black, you can now manually remove it from the areas that you want to. Just wait for it to save. And yeah, let's say you want to remove it from over here. So you can also like manually add the effect using a brush. It gives it a nice look or feel. Let's say you change the brush now. So if you press X to switch back to white color, you will see you are now painting it back again and the sticker is appearing. So these are some of the little tips that you can use to make your models or textures look even better. So I will just remove the paint layer and let's just completely remove the mask. And yeah, I will keep the cartridges clean, or maybe we can just add a black mask to it. Instead of a black mask, let's add a white mask. So that way they stay like on. And now when you select a brush, so let's add a paint layer. Select a brush and then try to paint with black color. You will see you are removing it. So let's just remove, use a dirt 3 brush and I will paint a little bit off along the edges. Just so it looks as if it is being chipped off along the edges a little bit. So definitely this is totally up to you. You can do it however you may like. I don't want to add like too much damage to my stickers. I want to keep them a little bit fresher. So I will just add a little bit of edge damage on the corners. You can also use different types of brushes to get like different types of results. There are a lot of options to choose from, definitely. Like this one also. So yeah, I think this is pretty good in my opinion. I'm happy with it. I will lastly just quickly add a warp filter to it because it kind of makes it look better in my opinion. The intensity is fine at 0.1. Let's just hit save. And yeah, now I'm happy with how the textures have turned out for this. In the next video, we can just export all the textures of the Nintendo Game Boy and the cartridges back to Blender. And then we can start with the lighting and rendering process. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.